Part 1 title: Facebook, Definition, Significance, and the First Principles of Idea Generation. Introduction. This training story opens a window onto one of the most influential product journeys of the modern era. Facebook began as a simple way to connect people and evolved into a platform that reshaped communication, media, commerce, and political life. For entrepreneurs, the unemployed, the underemployed, and people on social security seeking to create new products, Facebook's story offered practical lessons about spotting human needs, iterating quickly, and building network effects. This first part defines Facebook, explains why it matters, and explores the first set of principles for ideation inspired by Facebook's trajectory. Each principle includes an explanation, common mistakes companies make when trying to apply it, practical comparisons with other companies, and clear lessons you can carry into your own product work. Definition: Facebook is a social networking platform that enables people to create personal profiles, connect with friends and family, share content, and discover communities. At its core, Facebook organizes social graphs, the web of relationships among people, and amplifies communication through feeds, groups, messaging, and tailored experiences. Over time, it expanded into a broader ecosystem that includes advertising, commerce, developer tools, and integrations across devices and services. Significance: Facebook's significance lies in how it turned intimate human behaviors into scalable digital interactions. It accomplished several transformative things. It made online identity and persistent social presence simple and accessible, lowering friction for millions to express themselves and stay connected. It scaled the dynamics of human attention through a feed that learns what matters to each person, creating both value for users and a powerful advertising business. It demonstrated the strength of network effects. Each new user increased the platform's value for existing users, creating a flywheel that reinforced growth. It changed how communities form, from long-standing friends and family networks to interest groups, local neighborhoods, and global movements. It provided a template for turning user engagement into an economic model, showing how data, targeting, and measurement unlock monetization. For people learning to ideate, Facebook is important because it shows how a focused solution to a clear human problem can evolve into a platform with broad impact, and because its pathway is not a single recipe, but a set of repeatable principles that can be adapted to many situations. How this story will help you. This series is designed for practical learning. You will not only read a history, you will extract principles you can act on. How to find low-friction ideas, how to prioritize features, how to design for growth, and how to avoid common traps. Comparisons with other companies will sharpen your judgment about when to copy patterns and when to invent. Part 1 Structure. This first part covers the opening context and 3 foundational principles for generating ideas inspired by Facebook. Each principle is followed by 3 common mistakes companies make and a concise set of lessons learned. Principle 1. Solve a real, immediate human need. Explanation. Facebook began by addressing a concrete, immediate human need: staying connected with classmates and friends. The early product was simple and focused on enabling recognition and connection in a way that felt personal and relevant. Good ideas start by solving a specific problem people feel right now, not an abstract future wish. A focused solution reduces complexity and creates a clearer path to value. Why this matters? When the problem is immediate and tangible, users can evaluate the product quickly. Early adopters become evangelists when the product solves something that matters in daily life. Facebook's focus on social connection gave it a straightforward metric for success. Are people interacting more with the people they care about? Comparisons. With Airbnb solved the concrete problem of unused space and the desire to travel more affordably. Like Facebook, it matched supply and demand in a human-centered way. With Google solved information retrieval, a universal problem, but its early user experience was minimalist and focused on speed and relevance. Facebook's difference was orientation toward relationships rather than information. With Snapchat targeted ephemeral, casual sharing among friends, another immediate need, but with a different framing and product mechanics. 3 common mistakes companies make. Mistake 1. Designing for features rather than outcomes. Companies list capabilities they could build without crystallizing the human problem those features will solve. Mistake 2. Targeting everybody at once. Trying to build a product for all people dilutes focus and delays finding the right user experience at the saver seat with an initial group. Mistake 3. Over-engineering early. Adding complexity or too many options before the core value is clear makes the product harder to use and slower to improve. Lessons learned. Start by defining the specific human behavior you want to change. Build a minimal experience that makes that change obvious and repeatable. Validate quickly with real users in the context where the problem exists. Principle 2. Optimize for network effects. Early explanation. Facebook's growth relied on network effects. The value of the service increased as more people joined. Early product choices, such as forcing real names, focusing on college networks, and making it easy to find and share with classmates, intentionally increased the likelihood that people would bring their friends. Designing for network effects means constructing features and flows that make every new user increase the utility of the platform for others. Why this matters: products that harness network effects can achieve durable growth and defensibility. When a platform becomes central to how groups communicate, switching costs and social incentives keep users engaged. But network effects must be seeded deliberately. They rarely occur by accident. Comparisons with LinkedIn targeted professional connections and leveraged network effects in career contexts. Its growth was slower and more gradual because professional ties behave differently than personal ties. With Twitter created public conversation and followed a different network model based on interests and public figures rather than mutual relationships. Its network effects are about content and audience rather than tight social graphs. With WhatsApp used a phone number-based network to let people connect with their existing contacts, which accelerated adoption by lowering search friction. 3 common mistakes companies make. Mistake 1. Ignoring the seed cohort. Companies fail to identify an initial user group with dense connections and instead try to grow broadly, which prevents network effects from taking hold. Mistake 2. Failing to make sharing easy. If inviting or connecting with others requires manual effort, a viral growth loop stalls. Mistake 3. Building shallow interactions. Superficial engagement that does not lead to meaningful exchanges will not create strong retention or referral incentives. Lessons learned. Identify groups with high local connectivity and design to capture that cluster first. Reduce friction for users to invite and find people they already care about. Focus on interactions that generate value both for the sender and the receiver. Principle 3. Design for simplicity and immediate feedback. Explanation. Facebook's early interface emphasized a simple, clear interaction loop. Create a profile, add friends, and see updates. The feedback was immediate. A new photo or a status update produced reactions and comments quickly. Simplicity reduces cognitive load and makes the value proposition obvious within moments of using the product. Why this matters: when users can see the outcome of their action right away, they learn the product as value more quickly and are more likely to return. Simplicity also speeds product iteration because fewer moving parts mean clearer signals from user behavior. Comparisons with Dropbox. Dropbox used a single, simple promise: sync your files, and a clear user flow that delivered immediate satisfaction. That simplicity supported viral adoption. With Instagram. Instagram focused on one core action: share a photo. With a simple feed and editing tools. The simplicity made it easy for people to adopt and for the product to iterate rapidly. With LinkedIn. LinkedIn's complexity in early years, with many features and use cases, made it feel more like a toolbox than a simple experience for new users, which affected adoption speed. 3 common mistakes companies make. Mistake 1. Adding too many features before core value is proven. Complexity distracts users and obscures the main value. Mistake 2. Ignoring onboarding. If first-time users who not receive clear signals about what to do and why it matters, they will leave. Mistake 3. Building slow feedback loops. When actions have delayed or unclear outcomes, users cannot learn how the product benefits them. Lessons learned. Prioritize an onboarding flow that connects user actions to visible outcomes within minutes. Resist feature bloat until the core loop is stable and clearly valued by users. Measure time to first value and optimize it relentlessly. Closing of Part 1. These 3 principles form the foundation of a Facebook-inspired approach to ideation. Start with a real human need, design product elements that create network effects, and keep the experience simple with immediate feedback. Avoid the common mistakes of feature-first thinking, diffuse targeting, and sluggish feedback. Apply these lessons to any small-scale experiment. Focus narrowly, iterate quickly, and measure whether your idea changes a real behavior. In Part 2. In the next part, we will continue with the remaining principles, exploring community design, platform openness, monetization with user-aligned incentives, and ethical considerations. Each principle will again include a practical explanation, 3 mistakes companies make, comparisons with other companies, and concise lessons entrepreneurs can apply immediately. Part 2. Title: Facebook, Community, Platform Thinking, and Sustainable Monetization. Introduction. This second installment continues the training story, moving from product fundamentals to the social architecture and business mechanics that let Facebook scale into a dominant platform. These chapters focus on how to design communities, open a platform selectively, and build monetization that aligns with user value. Each principle includes a clear explanation, comparisons with other companies, 3 common mistakes firms make, and concise lessons you can use when ideating products. Principle 4. Design for community dynamics, not just users' explanation. Facebook succeeded because it treated groups and relationships as first-class design elements. Community dynamics. Norms, roles, identity signals, moderation flows, and shared rituals determine whether a group sticks together or falls apart. Designing for community means thinking about how people discover shared purpose, how reputation and trust are built, and how boundaries and governance scale as the group grows. Why this matters? Products built around isolated users can achieve short bursts of engagement, but platforms that nurture communities create deeper retention, richer content, and emergent value that founders cannot fully predict. Communities turn passive consumers into active contributors and local advocates. Comparisons with Reddit. Reddit centers around interest-based communities. Its subreddit model creates strong identity and norms, but decentralization requires community moderation and can lead to uneven quality. With Nextdoor focus is on local neighborhoods. Its hyperlocal design surfaces useful, immediate interactions, but also exposes social tension that requires careful governance. Etsy. Etsy builds a marketplace community where creators and buyers form trust through reputation systems and shared standards for craftsmanship. 3 common mistakes companies make. Mistake 1. Treating moderation as an afterthought. Without clear rules and scalable moderation tools, communities degrade and drive away new members. Mistake 2. Ignoring signaling mechanisms. Failing to design ways for members to express expertise, role, or contribution reduces trust and lowers participation. Mistake 3. Designing for uniform groups. Assuming all communities need the same features and governance ignores diversity of norms and purpose. Lessons learned: seed community norms early and make them visible to set expectations. Build lightweight moderation and escalation paths that can grow with the group. Provide simple reputation and role signals so trusted contributors can emerge. Principle 5. Open the platform, but control the funnel explanation. Facebook expanded beyond a single app into an ecosystem by offering APIs, integrations, and platform features while keeping critical paths under product control. The balance is delicate. Openness accelerates innovation and third-party value, but losing control of core experiences or data flows can fragment the user experience and create risks. Why this matters: opening a product to partners and developers multiplies the ways users can benefit, creating network effects that extend beyond direct users. But successful platforms define which parts are extensible and which are foundational, maintaining coherent user experience and trust. Comparisons with Apple. Apple opens its platform through the App Store and SDKs but keeps tight control over the user experience and key hardware interfaces. With Android's more permissive openness creates diversity and rapid innovation across many device makers but leads to fragmentation challenges. With Stripe exposes a focused, developer-friendly API that lets others build on payments without giving away control of the core payment guarantees. 3 common mistakes companies make. Mistake 1. Opening everything too fast. Allowing unrestricted third-party access can expose users to poor experiences, privacy risks, or brand damage. Mistake 2. Closing the platform entirely. Refusing integrations stifles ecosystem growth and forces partners to build costly workarounds. Mistake 3. Not documenting or supporting partners. A poor developer experience makes the platform unusable for the very people you want to attract. Lessons learned: define a clear contract. What partners can build and what the platform will protect. Start with curated integrations, then broaden access as governance and tooling mature. Invest in developer documentation, SDKs, and simple onboarding to lower friction. Principle 6. Monetize with user-aligned incentives. Explanation. Facebook's monetization developed from an experience-first product into a sophisticated advertising platform that rewards relevance. The guiding idea was to create value for advertisers while preserving or enhancing the user experience. When revenue models align with user outcomes, monetization becomes a growth lever rather than an extraction that degrades the product. Why this matters? Many promising ideas fail because their revenue model contradicts user incentives. Sustainable monetization preserves trust and complements the core loop, enabling reinvestment into product and community. Comparisons. With Google, Google monetizes through intent-based advertising, which aligns advertiser goals with user queries and thus often preserves user utility. With Spotify, Spotify blends ad-supported and subscription models. Alignment varies by user tolerance for interruption versus the value of an ad-free experience. With Patreon, Patreon aligns creator revenue with audience support, creating a direct economic tie between value delivered and compensation. 3 common mistakes companies make. Mistake 1. Choosing the easiest revenue path rather than the right one. Short-term tactics act like intrusive ads can erode user trust before value is proven. Mistake 2. Monetizing before product-market fit. A premature focus on revenue distracts from solving the fundamental user problem. Mistake 3. Obscuring value exchange. If users do not understand what they get in return for their data or attention, they feel exploited. The lessons learned validate product-market fit before scaling monetization. Design revenue mechanics that map to clear user benefits. Be transparent about data use and value exchange to maintain trust. Closing of Part 2. These 3 principles extend the foundation laid earlier. Communities create depth, selective openness accelerates ecosystem growth, and aligned monetization sustains long-term investment. Together they show how product, social architecture, and business model interact to turn a useful app into a resilient platform. In Part 3, a final installment will cover the remaining principles: product velocity and iteration at scale, ethical stewardship and governance, and practical playbooks for ideation and launching low-cost experiments targeted at entrepreneurs, the unemployed, the underemployed, and people on social security. It will conclude with case comparisons, step-by-step exercises, and a compact checklist you can apply immediately. Part 3 title: Facebook, Velocity, Stewardship, and Practical Playbooks for Launching Ideas. Introduction. His final installment completes the training story by focusing on how to iterate quickly at scale, govern ethically, and run low-cost experiments that turn ideas into real products. The goal is practical. Give entrepreneurs, the unemployed, the underemployed, and people on social security an actionable path to ideate, test, and improve products using lessons from Facebook and contrasts with other companies. This part covers 3 remaining principles: direct comparisons, a step-by-step playbook for ideation and experimentation, sample exercises you can run with minimal budget, and a compact checklist to guide your next idea. Principle 7. Iterate fast, learn faster. Explanation. Facebook's growth was driven by rapid product cycles, small experiments, frequent releases, and constant measurement. Iteration at speed requires a bias toward action, a tolerance for temporary messiness, and systems for capturing user behavior and feedback. The aim is not to perfect the product before launch, but to surface real user signals quickly and refine based on what those signals reveal. Why this matters: speed reduces wasted effort. The faster you test, the sooner you discover fatal flaws or promising signals, and the less time and money you burn on low-value work. Fast iteration converts uncertainty into knowledge at low cost. Comparisons. With Amazon's culture of rapid experimentation and metrics-driven decisions mirrors Facebook in many ways, though Amazon applies this across retail and operations as well as software. Apple moves more deliberately, prioritizing polished launches. That approach yields high-quality experiences, but can miss fast feedback loops, and early market learning. With Google, Google often runs many concurrent experiments and uses data to prune aggressively, similar to Facebook's playbook of learning through measured exposure. Common mistakes companies make. Mistake 1. Measuring the wrong thing. Tracking vanity metrics that do not reflect real user value leads to false positives. Mistake 2. Releasing big, rare updates. Large, infrequent releases hide learning opportunities and make it harder to attribute cause and effect. Hint. Mistake 3. Ignoring qualitative signals. Over-reliance on metrics without listening to user stories misses context and hidden needs. Lessons learned: design small, testable experiments that change a single variable. Use combined quantitative and qualitative feedback to understand why users act the way they do. Build a cadence of rapid releases and rapid learning, not endless polishing. Principle 8. Practice ethical stewardship and governance. Explanation: Facebook's scale amplified the consequences of product decisions, creating social, political, and personal impacts. Ethical stewardship means anticipating harms, building governance systems, and aligning incentives with long-term public trust. It requires policies, clear escalation paths, transparency, and a willingness to change course when harms appear. Why this matters: products that ignore ethical risk can grow quickly but encounter backlash that stalls adoption, invites regulation, or destroys brand trust. Ethical foresight preserves the social license to operate and makes products resilient. Comparisons with Twitter. Content moderation choices shaped public conversation and regulatory scrutiny. Twitter's smaller scale changed the dynamics of enforcement and expectation. Microsoft's enterprise focus and long-standing partnerships led it to invest heavily in compliance and governance early, shaping product design around trust. With Wikipedia, as a community-driven encyclopedia, Wikipedia developed norms and volunteer governance to maintain credibility, showing how distributed stewardship can work when designed well. Common mistakes companies make. Mistake 1. Treating ethics as PRE. Reactive responses to criticism fail to build durable trust. Mistake 2. Outsourcing responsibility. Relying solely on third parties for moderation or compliance without internal ownership leads to gaps. Mistake 3. Short-term trade-offs. Prioritizing growth over safety creates systemic risks that compound and become costly to fix. Lessons learned: build governance into product design from the start, not as an afterthought. Create transparent policies and feedback channels so users understand rules and recourse. Invest in cross-functional teams that include product, legal, community, and ethics perspectives. Practical playbook. From idea to test overview. His playbook is a compact, low-cost path to move from idea to validated learning. It assumes limited resources and emphasizes experiments that reveal whether people care enough to act. Step 1. Define the core human job. Describe the specific behavior you want to change in one clear sentence. State who benefits and why it matters to them. Step 2. Design the simplest possible experiment. Create a minimal prototype or landing page that communicates the value. Offer a call to action that requires a commitment signal. Sign up, reservation, content contribution, or a small payment. Step 3. See it a connected cohort. Start with a tight network where people already know each other or share context. Use existing groups, local organizations, or personal contacts to recruit initial users. Step 4. Run a short, measurable test. Launch the experiment for a defined, brief window and track action-based metrics. Combine analytics with a small set of interviews to capture motivations and friction. Step 5. Learn and iterate. If the test shows signs of real engagement, iterate on the core loop and expand the cohort. If results are weak, analyze qualitative feedback, pivot the value proposition, or retire the idea quickly. Step 6. Scale selectively. Once the core loop works and retention is visible, invest in bandwidth for onboarding, moderation, and monetization experiments. Protect the user experience while opening up integrations or partner channels gradually. Sample low-cost exercises. Exercise 1. The value landing page. Build a single-page description of your idea with a clear benefit statement and a prominent call to action to join a waitlist or request early access. Use free website builders and promote the page to local communities, social groups, and low-cost ads if budget allows. Measure conversion rate and capture why people signed up via a single question survey. Exercise 2. The Concierge MVP. Manually deliver the service to a small group to learn the workflow and value drivers before automating. Record time spent, user satisfaction, and edge cases as priorities for automation. This approach uncovers hidden costs and product-market fit signals with minimal engineering. Exercise 3. Community pilot. Launch a private group or forum to test community dynamics with a seeded cluster of engaged users. Facilitate early interactions, surface norms, and document moderation needs. Track participation rates, retention, and useful posts per user to evaluate stickiness. Facilitator, tips for training groups, use storytelling. Present a short, relatable case study from Facebook and a contrasting company for each exercise. Pair people into small teams to run one experiment idea in parallel and compare results. Encourage iterative demos. Teams should present what changed after each learning cycle, not just final outcomes. Comparisons and contrasts. What Facebook teaches versus other paths. Focus versus polish. Facebook's early emphasis on core social interaction shows that focused utility can beat polished generalities. In contrast, Apple demonstrates the power of polished singular experiences when execution resources are available. Network design. Facebook and Reddit both show network effects, but Reddit's topic-driven communities require different moderation and identity systems than Facebook's real-name graph. Choose the network architecture based on the behavior you want to encourage. Monetization timing. Facebook monetized once engagement signaled durability. Stripe and Patreon show alternative monetization strategies that align more directly with core transactional value. Match the revenue model to how value flows between participants. Practical ethical checklist. Anticipate harms. List potential negative outcomes of your idea for users and bystanders. Define rules. Draft simple, clear community guidelines or usage policies. Recourse. Create an escalation path for reports and disputes. Limit data collection. Collect only what you need and explain why in plain language. Plan for transparency. Decide what you will share about policies, changes, and data use. Compact launch checklist. 1. Core job statement, defined in one sentence. 2. Minimal test designed with a clear call to action. 3. Seed cohort identified and recruited. 4. Short experiment window planned with measurable outcomes. 5. Qualitative feedback plan prepared. 6. Decision criteria for iterate, pivot, or stop, set in advance. 7. Governance and data policies drafted at a basic level. 8. Simple monetization hypothesis noted, to be tested only after engagement proves durable. Closing lessons for learners: start small and stay focused. The clearest, narrowest experiments reveal more than sprawling plans. Learn through a mix of numbers and conversations. Metrics quantify. Conversations explain. Prioritize trust. Ethical choices protect the long-term value of your product and the people who use it. Design for people who already know each other first. Dense networks accelerate learning and create early momentum. Treat every early idea as an experiment, not a product. The goal is to reduce uncertainty, not to defend ego. Final comparison snapshot. Facebook's path demonstrates how social connection, network effects, fast iteration, and platform openness combine to build scale. Other companies teach complementary lessons. Apple on integrated craftsmanship, Amazon on operational excellence, Stripe on developer-first APIs, and Reddit on community specialization. Blend these lessons intentionally based on your idea's core job and available resources. Next steps for trainees. Pick one small idea that changes a human behavior you experience personally. Use the playbook to design a 2-week test with a landing page and a seeded cohort. Run 3 short interviews during the test to capture why people acted and what they wanted next. Iterate once based on results, then decide to scale, pivot, or stop. Endnote. This 3-part training story should arm you with principles, practical steps, and ethics to ideate and test products with minimal cost and maximum learning. Use Facebook as a source of patterns, not a blueprint. Adapt what fits your context, avoid copying mistakes, and focus on creating useful, trustworthy experiences that serve real human needs.